Hello everyone, Nick here with What Game Now. Nobody's joined the stream yet, that's fine. This is me working on some decals. We've got decals, we've got bases, we got a lot of stuff to do tonight. So without any further ado, I am going to go ahead and get started. If you have any questions as usual or want to talk, just drop it in the chat. Get a few models out here. These are already finished ones. I'm just double checking, make sure I get the right decals, right sizes out and everything. All right, well, I'm just going to start talking like normal. If anybody's got any questions, comments, discussions, we can go ahead and do that. The decals I am using are from DreamPod 9. They are the official New Coalition decals. And they're going on a whole bunch of models. And we're going to be using a whole lot of decals today. So what I'm doing first is I'm going ahead and get them cut out. We will apply the first set of decals, do the bases, or do the first step on the bases. By the time that's done, we will be ready to do another pass on decals, and then keep going from there. The bases are 2 steps. The decals are actually like 3. They take a little bit, but doing them right's a little more important than doing them fast. Let's get these cut out and soaking. The decals are soaking in just box standard water because these are water slide decals. And what's going to be going out is faction logos, numbers and notation. It's like the actual numbers on the vehicles. Grab one more. And then some of the tanks are going to get the heck is it? My brain's failing me right now. Some of the tanks get like some of the wording and all that. Cut this. It's also going to be a little bit of experimentation because I've got a couple models I haven't put decals on before. So there's going to be a little bit of trial and error as I mess around with various sizes. Just a reminder what we're working on. 3 Hussars. These guys are super easy. I know exactly what they need in decals. I just got to go ahead and put them all on. A Fusilier tank, a Voltigeur tank, and 2 Chasseur Mark IIs. These are the models I've done before, so I know what they need decals-wise. It's not too bad. I've actually got finished ones is what I keep consulting with over here. So we need these. And these. I don't go too crazy on the decals, just because these can be somewhat finicky. Very carefully separating these with a knife. And then we're going to be using a pair of products called Microcell and Microset to actually put these on. All right, that is a whole bunch of decals. We're going to work through what we've got and then come back to them. So we got two products here, Microset and Microsol. We're going to start with Microset. And this is going to be applied over the areas of the model that we want the decals to go on. So I'm going to start with the Chasseur Mark IIs here. And there's two decals that are going to go on. There's going to be one right here and one on the chest piece. So off screen, I have a it's like a dish of water that these have been soaking in. So we slide them off and apply them where desired. They are going to be very wet. That's normal, but it just means don't try and push it. So we got one there, and then we've got one. Apologies, I forgot to flip some of the lights on, and one of my dogs is laying on them. Let me go kick her off real fast. Stella, sweetie, I need you to get off that. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. Fix the lighting. But there we go. So we're just going to work through what we've got here. I don't want to go too crazy on the decals because there's so many of them floating around. I don't want to lose track of them. And then what's going to happen is this is going to be set to dry for a while. And then I'm going to hit it once more with the same thing, just to kind of seal it down. And then finish off with a coat of the red stuff once that's good and dry. Sometimes if they don't want to move, if you can very, very gently use a knife on them. Center it up. And there we go. I find decals to be one of the best things you can do to a model to really bring it to life. And I always had problems with them. Could never quite get them to settle down right or to properly adhere or to follow the curve of the model. And it wasn't until I discovered Microcell and Microset that I learned the error of my ways. So now with those in hand, they're super easy. And I actually go through and do quite a bit of them. So this guy gets a unit number, gets one big one up front here, and then there's going to be two on the sides. Sorry, the decal is not behaving. There we go. And then gently use our X-Acto knife to work it into position. It has folded over onto itself a little bit. Not to worry. There we go. And hooray. A little more working time, get a little more of the Microset on there. And there we are. One decal. All right, so this particular tank's going to get on its side as well. So let's go ahead and do that. This is one of the large. It's not really a faction logo, it's more of a name. It just says New Coal. And there's that. Grab one more on the other side. And the reason we're doing this now is so this has time to dry and set, and I can progress. One of the earliest tricks I learned in trying to paint, I don't say quickly, but efficiently, is if a step takes multiple, you have to wait a while, it doesn't hurt to do it early. So this particular step, apologies, let me go off camera and fix this real fast. Downside of longer decals is sometimes they like to scrunch up. There we are. Maneuver into position. This got messed up a little bit. And there we are. This one gets a big one and a unit marking. We can do that fairly quickly. I try to not go overboard either on the number of decals on the model or the number of decals I'm trying to work with at one time. But I guess while that's going, we can go ahead and maybe talk about some things going on in the world of gaming right now. GW just did their next preview for the next campaign book. As much as I rag on GW, and I think they deserve it, I do give them credit. They continually are showing off new releases and new toys. And I actually think the cancellation of some of their larger conventions has actually done good for them on that front. Because what we're seeing is more detailed discussion of the various concepts and ideas. For example, they showed off some new factions for Warcry, a new one for Age of Sigmar. And, I give them credit. They look good. I don't have a ton of playtime with Warcry. It's one of those games that I would if I could, but I don't have a million years of time. But anyway, it's Dark Elves, or the Age of Sigmar equivalent of Dark Elves. The totally not Dark Elves, whatever our copyrightable name that we came up with is. Before that, okay. I keep going back to my reference models because I've already done this on some models, just to make sure I'm being consistent with decal placement. All right, let's go for some of the big guys now. So this is they get one big one on each shoulder. because they got a ton of space. Might as well use it. One right there. Back over to the kniff and center up. Also shoulder decal. Right there. It gets a unit number here. And that'll get that started. This step, I love it. I love the effect. That is on upside down. The blades go counterclockwise. I love the effect of decals. I will not pretend they're not mind-numbingly boring at times. I guess, nobody's popping into chat yet, so I'll just keep rambling. The numbers I put on the units are not planned. I don't look at them and say, yes, this needs to be number 6 or number 4. They're just kind of whatever I have on hand. I do try to make sure that I don't do too many overlaps on numbers. Like these Hussars right here. I only have 4 of them. Only. But I deliberately try to make sure that they don't have a ton of overlaps on them. So if one's called 01, I'm gonna try and avoid another 01 within reason. Like the chasseurs I've got like 14 of them now. I don't worry about it with them. More on there. But I'm trying to avoid reusing numbers as much as possible. I only have 1 through 20 with the DreamPod 9 set. The DreamPod 9 set's got some cool ones on it, but on the whole, some of it I think is just a little excessive. Huzzah! All right, what else do we have here? We still have some light hover tanks. We still have an APC. We got a BOA. Okay. The BOA's got this nice fat area right here. I think we'll put a logo right there and then like a unit number on the shoulder. So we'll do that. We'll put the unit number on the shoulder. And I'm going to have to cut out another logo for him, but we'll put a medium-sized logo on it. So he's got a number now. Sorry, it's a little hard to see with the glare. Oh my God, David was actually editing. Hopefully Nicole video goes up soon. All right, so there's that. We'll put a unit marker right there on this tank. I like putting the unit marks on the turret as much as possible. My Fusiliers are the only ones where I don't do that, and that's because there's not really a nice spot to put it. So, number on there. And that just leaves us with our truck. And I have something special in mind for the truck. The Samson APC here. I do need to get the VAR, so I got to get the helicopter. So we'll do the helicopter real fast. But the only compelling place would be right there, I think. I kid, David, I kid. I know you're working on it. Thanks for saying that. We do have some other stuff coming up. I did record, and it is being reviewed. It's got a little bit of like tagging it and all that. So there's the number on that one. There's some other stuff that has to be done on them, but I did the Southern Army box video is up, and then I also did a force construction video like someone asked for. Okay. I have something special for this giant vehicle right here. When I saw it, I saw one thing and only one thing. I am a huge fan of a certain franchise called Mobile Suit Gundam. You might have heard of it. I looked at this thing, and one of my favorite series in Gundam is called 08th MS Team. And I look at this thing, and I cannot help but see the 08th MS Team hover truck. So this is going to get unit marking 08. And I have a very special set of decals for it. While that's going on, though, we're going to go ahead and put the faction logo on. I was really going to put on the front. I think we're going to put it on the back. The back. I was originally going to put the faction logo right here. I could go on the back. The unit numbers are going on. The number is going to go on the back right here. Tell you what, we'll do both sides. It's going to have one big one right there. And it's going to mirror one on both sides. So we'll do that. And then on the back, I have a gigantic 0. And an 8. Okay, so use the knife to slowly work these into position. There we go. All right, what do we got left on decals here? We have some side pieces like that are on the tanks. I do put those on the Hussars, so let's go ahead and do those. And then we'll take stock of where we're at and see how many more of each kind of decal we're going to need. So there we go. So there's that. We'll do This one gets to, so we just slather on the microset. And on go the decals. Using the knife wherever possible to center them up. This guy, that's what we were doing. Okay. So let's go ahead and take inventory here. What needs decals, what's not? This is done. This is done. This is done. And these two hussars are done. This needs some danger warning decals. This needs a faction logo. This one needs faction logos. This one needs a faction logo. And you need the new coal stuff, and I'll probably put new coal on this. So we're going to cut out 6 more of the new coal words here. Trying very carefully not to cut any other decals that you might be interested in keeping. Also trying to not cut any fingers off. That would be generally helpful. Sharp objects, kids, be careful. I'm an expert at cutting myself open on sharp objects. All right. So there's those. I need 1 big faction logo for this guy. 1 medium size for him. So we'll grab the big one. And I just had an idea. I've never used any of these giant roundels. Is there actually room for them? Not really. Okay. My one has only smalls left. Let's cut out a couple more new coals here. Off as close as we can on the excess. That. All right. I need the danger engine intakes. Which are going to be these guys. These go on the Fusilier. Might put some on this. Nah, it's probably fine. These are a little finicky anyway. Those in. Like I said, these are just soaking in some water. Just generic tap water. All right. So that finishes him. That finishes him. It's probably going to finish that. I need 2 medium-sized faction logos. Okay. Hopefully I have. There we go. There we go. I got some medium-sized faction logos. 2 medium-sized faction logos. Quick cut there. And then we can go back to putting these on models. All right. So with that all getting taken care of, let's go ahead and apply decal setting solution. Apply decal to model. How do I do firing arcs? So I haven't actually gone through and done them on my heavy gear stuff yet. It's mostly just because I've been lazy and haven't done it. The game plan is just to do a white vertical line to denote front and back arc. So just a white line. That medium-sized decal on here. Honestly, the firing arcs, they're a very good thing to mark. However, I haven't 100% encountered a ton of situations where I really needed it. But yeah, anyway, it's gonna be white lines. Grab a. Excuse me, I need to move a dog here real fast. These are my Infinity models, so like that. Yeah, for War Machine, those half arc markers, I have those too. The only catch is I'm not using the same size bases as War Machine, so I haven't actually gone through and tested the fit. All right, let's get some of these dangers on there. My War Machine models actually have full 180 degree painted on arcs. I don't just mark where the line is. I actually paint the back half of the base. So funny story about painting it on hexes. I don't actually think you need to. I just think you just need to identify which ones count. So I mean, if the model's facing this way forwards, these three are going to be its front arc. So I'm not actually sure I'd worry too much about hex bases. I have a funny story about the dynamic posing. It is a good habit to do, and you 100% should do it. I just haven't done it on my heavy gear models yet. It's not because I don't intend to. It's just because I haven't had a chance to. Okay, so there's him. He's done. You're done. Yeah, I am a huge advocate for clean play. I like arc markers. I like proxy bases. I mean, everything. I have templates. Here's an exactly 5-inch template, things like that, for measuring distances and ranges and things like that. I am a huge stickler for precision in play. And we are about done with the first wave of decals here. Which is very nice. Got 2 to put on this Hussar. Come on, get out of the. Come on. One downside of long decals is they like to roll up on each other, and it drives me nuts. There we go. Okay. But yeah, anyway, back to the arcs. I am a huge fan of clean, precise play. I like proxy bases. I like, break out the laser and check. Takes like 4 seconds. It's really easy. I prefer play by intent. If I say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do, I'll work with you to try and get it done. And then, hey, if the table gets bumped, we know what the intention was. We agreed that you could be there. I don't get too hung up about it. What I wish StreamPod 9 had some better tokens. The token set they have right now is not terrible, but to me it's woefully inadequate. Words. We'll go there. Okay. Anyway, I find their token sets woefully inadequate. I like things to be marked. I like clear, concise information. Yes, I understand it can clutter up the table. That annoys some people, but I'd rather know what's going on and have a cluttered table than have to deal with the, oh, I didn't realize. That's how the War Machine cards. That's where I picked that up, actually. When I played 40K, I wasn't too concerned about it. And then I really started to play, when I started playing War Machine, focusing on clean play and things like that. And what I found is, number one, a lot of people kind of read into it as the uber competitive win at all cost player attitude. It's actually not. It's just, I want a consistent gaming experience. That may mean that, hey, we're going to have a quick, what is this? What is this? If you're trying to do something weird, let's have a discussion and try and find a position where your model can be to achieve what you're trying to do. And that's just me. And I completely just killed that decal. Broke it in half. Moment of silence for the lost decal. But yeah, once I started playing that way, I really found that it just makes life so much easier. When you play a game and everyone's trying to play cleanly, it's amazing how many things are non-issues. Yeah, learn to play your mistakes. I'm not against takebacks. I don't have a problem with them. Although context is important. If we're at like the finals table of a major tournament and you make a mistake, I'm probably not going to let you take it back. Unless you have done so already for me. Conversely, there's a degree of you want to win the game because you outplayed your opponent. Maybe that's just me, but anyway, there's our first round of decals. So we're going to let those sit for a while and dry and do some basics. So what we're going to do is, crap, I forgot to do the VTOL. Never mind. We still got the aircraft to do. We'll grab 2 faction name decals. And we'll go with 2 large faction logos, I think. No, we don't actually need these. We're just going to 2 large faction logos. But yeah, anyway, I'm not going to try and pronounce it. Red cap, I guess, maybe. Is that what you're trying to go for with that? I'm a huge advocate of clean play. If you make a mistake, I tend to just suck it up. And that's just the way that I play games. I prefer that experience. And part of it's the experience, part of it is, as much as some people want to argue it, it actually decreases problems. I have had more problems playing casual pickup games where we didn't have a conversation at the start to say, hey, you know, what's this? What's this? How are we going to handle this? You know, I've known more than a few people who claim to be very casual players get offended at the idea of having that conversation. And then halfway through the game, something comes up that's like, yeah. It's a Defender Jaeger block and anticipate fighting aircraft. I would love the Defender Jaeger if he was a 1 point up, if it was either exactly the same or a 1 point upgrade. I'm actually a huge advocate of those type of variants. In New Coal, there's the Lance variants on a lot of models, where it'll be, you know, here's a model with a medium autocannon, and then there's a version that just gives it AA. I like that. I wish that the Defender Jaeger didn't cost so much extra. So anyway, I guess that's my answer. That's like I don't like it just because it's so much extra than a regular Jaeger, and if I've got a Jaeger, I kind of want it cheap. It's not there to be expensive. And that's something I see. It's like I see people pouring points into models that are just designed to die, and it's like, no, expect them to do their job. That being said, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't use. I just don't see my. I wouldn't see myself using it that much. All right. With the VTOL done, let's go ahead and do some bases. So, super secret tech to doing bases if you don't know how. This stuff is gold. The only catch is you got to do 2 coats of it. We're going to be using some sand from Citadel, some super top secret White Elmer's glue, and the crappiest paintbrush I have, because this will completely trash it. And now this process is super complicated. You take a brush load of glue and you slather it all over the base. I did, from the last video, I did clear coat everything. And you'll actually notice I did paint the bases a deep brown color. What I have found with flocking materials like this is you want something under it that's not black, because there will be gaps, there will be slight areas you can see through. I always paint that. And then we dip in the sand, brush off the rim, and hey, we're done. Well, halfway at least. Trying to be super careful because these models have decals on them. Go up as close as I reasonably can to the feet. If you don't get all the way, it's not the end of the world. It is better to leave a slight gap than to get any on the foot. Come in from the side. And voila. Now what's going to happen is we're going to let this dry. And then we're going to take a watered down coat of the exact same stuff and apply it to the models when we're done. And what that's going to do is it's going to seal down the glue, or seal down the material. This is white glue. If you've never played around with this stuff, it actually is water soluble. By putting a layer of watered down glue on top, does still make sand? I hope so, because I'm running out and I would like to buy more. I hope they still make sand. I'm going to be a little annoyed if they don't. This is just from their basing line. I can't imagine why they would have gotten rid of it. Okay, Red Cat bought some last week. Okay, all right. I mean, I've been on this same... this same container has lasted me like 6 years. Granted, I have to date not tried to do a whole army in that color, but, you know, hey. All right. So slather, 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 slather. Yeah, this is super generous. Yeah, it's super messy. I'm just trying to be careful around the model. Huh. It's in discs now. That's interesting. I like Citadel Sand. It looks the most sandy without actually doing any work to it. And it's really weird to say. I've tried a lot of other products, and it doesn't look right. I've tried like Woodland Scenics. I even got like some Quickcrete sand just to see. You know, hey, does it work? And nothing looked right. Yeah, go check Games Workshop here. I'm curious now. Is the sand available? Ooh, it didn't show up. That's scary. Painting and modeling. Bases, basing materials. Oh crap! It is not showing on their site. That's concerning. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to find a replacement then. Bought mine from the Union Store. Did they order it for you, or did they have it on the shelf? Because that's a little concerning to me. Because if not, I'm gonna have to like hunt down some GW sand because I could use a couple, 3 more of these. It seems really weird that they would get rid of all their basing material though, because just I flipped through their basing material options, and there was like nothing there. None of their grass tufts, none of their static grass, nothing. That's interesting. Are they dumping the line? Are they just? I don't know. That's really weird. I'm gonna have to give Gale Force 9 a try. Because what I can do is I can mix it, you know, get a couple things at Gale Force 9, mix it with this, and then it won't, if it looks a little bit different, that's okay. I'll have to ask my LGS because they have a, ask their GW rep what's going on. Because, I mean, if they're gone, I'm going to be a little annoyed. Maybe repackaging. That is a good point. It might be being repackaged. I hope it is being repackaged because I love their sand. Like chat said, it's pretty fine, and the coloration I really like. A lot of other sands I've seen are like a little too yellow. Hopefully I don't use a ton of it. All right, who's left? We have the Hussars. And I need more glue. Yeah, I'm really curious right now. You know, did they get rid of their sand, or are they repackaging it? Part of it's rationing, part of it is I'm going to be going out on a binge looking for it if it's no longer in production. But it was interesting that I just flipped on GW's site. All of their basing materials, all of it, is gone. They have their scenic bases. None of their static grass is on there. Even their grass tufts, only one of them was on there and it was out of stock. So either they canned the whole line or something, I don't know. I find it hard to believe they would can the whole line. That might be it. It might be just a case of it's been disappearing lately because of the supply issues overseas. I hope so, because I know there's a lot of places that are doing that right now where they're listing stuff that, if they're not, they don't know when the next restock is. They're just not listing it on their site for sale. But I'm going to have to, like I said, my LGS is high enough tier with them that they have a GW rep that they can call. I'll have to have him call and see what's going on. Because it's great stuff. It wasn't that expensive. You got a pretty healthy amount of it. And like I said, I like it's a very fine substance, whatever it is. And it looks to me like sand. I see a lot of model sand that just doesn't look like sand, if that makes sense. Anyway, nothing we can really do on that front right now. But we are actually about done with our first wave of basing. All right. Is there snow on Terra Nova? Yes, actually there is. In the extreme far north. If you go to the North Pole, there's snow. If you go to the South Pole, you get jungle. Does it snow in winter? Not on most of the planet. Most of the planet would be think like American Southwest, like Arizona, New Mexico level. If you go further north, you get to temperate forests and things like that. And in the really, really far northern latitudes, you can occasionally get snow. All right, so that's it for now. We need to do some metallics, so some actual painting. We are using Games Workshop Lead Belcher, mostly because I'm kind of lazy. The truck, I don't think needs any. No, yeah, it's gonna need some metallics. So we're gonna like handholds or something right there. Just a little bit to add some visual variety to the model. Oops. I throw models around. This one is going to have some metallics in here. And that looks like about it. Oh, I was going to do the gun barrel too. We're going to do the far tip of the gun barrel. This is just a base coat. The actual silver is going to be a much brighter silver. I know the VTOL doesn't have any that we're going to do. This hover tank does. section right in here. These like latches or something, whatever they are. That's him. The gears are easy. There's just some leg struts on them that need to be done. So leg struts. The boa, we're going to go ahead and do the barrels of its rotary laser. The barrel's right there. And this also has some handholds. This is just a base coat silver. Like I said, we're actually going to go through with a much brighter silver and paint that on. Okay. Now, if I go off my already painted Hussar, we're going to be doing the leg struts. All of them. We're going to be doing these kind of handlebar things. We're going to be doing gun barrels and the knee pieces. Okay, cool. That's easy. So just go in here. Alrighty here. Now comes the fun part. The Gatling gun. The blade. All right. Here. And then the part that I'm dreading is the million little gun barrels up here. Thankfully, not all of them have quite this level of obnoxious parts on them. And then what we're going to do when this dries is we're going to shade it and then layer over it with a much brighter silver. And when we're done with the actual base silver we're doing here, we're going to do the next layer on those decals. And then we should be ready to shade this. And if I make a mistake here, I'm just going to go back with the dark brown on the camo colors. It'll undo any mistakes pretty easily and won't be noticeable. And on the guns, if it's a mistake, I just paint it black again. So there will be like one final quick pass of touch-ups when I'm done. All told, though, I mean, you guys have, if you were here last week, you saw these pretty much unpainted. This whole painting process, at least the one that I use, doesn't take too long. And that's intentionally. I gotta do the bars right here. I would rather have a decent paint job on my entire army than having an amazing paint job on 2 models. That's just me. On the off chance you haven't seen, I'm just going to point this out to anyone interested. DreamPod 9 is having a social distancing sale where pretty much everything is like 20% off or something. So that's never a bad thing. I'm probably going to be putting in an order towards the end of the month. Okay. There's our metallics. At least the base. Edward, yeah, I understand. 25% pay cut. This has been nuts. I am lucky. My position is salary and is university based. So sales numbers and stuff like that, we don't worry about. We sign our contracts and that's it. But yeah, I really feel for people. In my area, there's a lot of stuff. Could you video how to build 150 points of Caprice using 2 army boxes? Sure. Yeah, we can do that. 2 army boxes is actually a fair bit. Yeah. Like I said, I have been thankfully very lucky with this whole situation. I haven't been impacted as much as a lot of other people. And I really feel for those who have been. I know some people who, like Dave just posted in there, his wife got a 40% pay cut. I had a student of mine who worked as a server at a restaurant. And we had a project that they were going to do that required them to spend money. And he came to me and said, look, I can't physically afford to do this project. And it's crazy. Hopefully, though, it's going to start to improve a little bit. There we go. But yeah, it's going crazy. All right. Let's go back to some decals here. We're going to go back to the micro set. And what we're going to do is we're just going to layer this over the decals we put down. Don't want to go too crazy, just enough to wet them again. And what this is going to do is it's going to help them adhere a little bit better and conform to the part they're on. So there and there. There and there. Hit that, hit that, and hit that. Oops, sorry. Bump the rig. All right, we've got our second layer of setting solution in on our decals. Halfway done on the decals. 2 more steps. Once that's dry, we're going to hit it with some microsol and some matte varnish. While we're waiting for that, I need to do something on the VTOL. And that VTOL is going to have a glossy canopy. So let's go ahead and do that. So I've got, this is some gloss finish paint. And I'm just going to paint this all over the canopies. Being pretty generous with it. And I'll give the canopies a nice gloss finish. All right. Shade the metallics real fast where needed. They're not all going to need it. The hover tanks don't. The BOA does. Just a quick dashing with some black shade. The tank doesn't. The VTOL doesn't. These 2 little gears doesn't hurt. That vehicle's not going to need it because there's not like detail area. Most of it is the rotary cannons on the Hussars. So just a quick. Quick and dirty shading. Just darkens it down a little bit. Oh, and the knee pads. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back, we're going to layer on some brighter metal in key areas. Good old Battletech. All right, top off the water there. All right. So how are we doing? We're doing pretty good, actually. The vehicles that didn't get washes, we can hit real fast. Since somebody mentioned BattleTech on there, just a fun note here. I finally broke down and became a terrible person and bought the MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries on the Epic Store. If you haven't done that yet, I would highly recommend it with a caveat. You need to download a couple mods to make things a little less insane. I like hard games, and then there's like ridiculous level, and it was bordering on ridiculous for a little while. That doesn't make you a horrible person. I know. I got really annoyed with them when the Epic Store came out, and there was a bunch of companies that were selling on Steam, were advertising Steam that all of a sudden didn't. And that really rubbed me the wrong way. But I went ahead, got it. I'd highly recommend it if you haven't played it yet. Like I said, I'd download some mods. I'd particularly look for ones that fix the spawns. The enemies that spawn are, quite frankly, ridiculous, unfair, and just no. I don't mind difficult games. I very much mind a game where, like, they're literally spawning 40 guys on top of you sometimes. I think it was, like, the first open mission I got outside of campaigns, and I literally think there were 40 enemy vehicles over the course of the whole thing. And it's just like, what? So I went ahead and downloaded some mods. One that fixed the spawns. They didn't necessarily decrease them. They just affected where they land and how far away. It's too many tons of dudes, and it's the fact that they're not mechs. I'm playing MechWarrior. I want to fight mechs. It's like the third or fourth campaign mission before you actually fight an enemy mech. That kind of annoyed me. On the other hand, once you get past that initial hump, the game's fantastic. It's the turn-based version. BattleTech also suffers from similar issues, where it's a little too obnoxious at the beginning. Once you get going, the game's super easy. Yeah. Literally, it's a single spider after running through an entire game full of VTOLs and tanks. And I thought it was funny because there's this like hovercraft VTOL that you fight. There's this hovercraft VTOL. I think it's called like an Igor or something, that I never saw again until I was like a 6 or 7 star company. But yeah, anyway, I got a mod that fixed that. They did just announce their first wave of DLC, if you didn't see that. There's going to be an open career mode. They added heroic missions and characters. Like, I like the game. It's just that aspect of it really annoyed me. I'm also going to admit I really wish that the ship you get to walk around in had a little more to it, because it's kind of boring. It feels like it was meant to be a hub, and it'd be really cool if you could interact with your pilots, but no. Like I said, it's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. I would rather have it than nothing. I would call it a market improvement over MechWarrior 4. With one caveat, I still want my clans back. Yeah. I'm really curious to see when they bring the clans in and how, because you know they're going to. It's the same guys who make MechWarrior Online. They have all those assets already. There is no reason they're not going to do the clans. And I am happy for that. As annoying as the clans can be, I think they make the universe a lot more interesting. Yeah, there's no sane human would actually want to like side with them. But at the same time, I appreciate the clans. I like them. I like them as an addition. Because I'd be really curious to see, because there's a lot of potential there. Also, I'm kind of on a clan kick right now. Because I'm assuming a lot of people who are reading this chat might have already known, but there was a gigantic BattleTech Kickstarter for plastic models related to the clan invasion. And I threw an amount of money against that I'm not necessarily proud of. But I'm getting a crap load of mechs. Yeah, I've heard MechWarrior Online's got some problems. I don't like it because I don't like progression-based games with no matchmaking. Because it's like somebody who has already grinded, 70, 80 hours in is at an empirical disadvantage. Yeah. I think I threw enough money at the Kickstarter that I'm getting one of everything. At least mech-wise. And then the game plan is I'm going to paint up the Inner Sphere mechs as Razelhog Republic, and then put Clan Wolf as the clan, because that actually fits within the universe, because that particular conflict did happen. And also at the same time, I like the Clan Wolf color scheme. I'm doing Beta Galaxy. But anyway, I'm going to be really curious to see. I like Clan Wolf, particularly the Warden Wolves. Natasha Kerensky, Felinkel, all of them. Those are my favorite characters in BattleTech. Yep, Clan Wolf Beta Galaxy is the plan. It's a really easy color scheme. It's just 2 tones. I've already picked out what the paints are. I'd have to go back and look at my reference material to tell you what they are off the top of my head. And then the game plan is to paint the Inner Sphere mechs. They're going to be just generic camouflage. But the intention is that they'll be like Razelhog Republic or something. But anyway, back to the MechWarrior 5. I'm really curious to see when they bring the clans in and what they do. Because I've always thought, yeah, tan on top, gray on the bottom, really easy. What I think would be really cool is there's so much potential in BattleTech, and no one's ever done it in a BattleTech game, to actually do a clan campaign where you're a clanner and actually have to go through and like use the honor system and all that to advance your rank. I think there's so much room there to do some really cool stuff and cool mechanics. It's kind of sad I haven't seen it done. They go in favor of, generic Inner Sphere mercs. Yeah, Razelhog gets a whole lot of everything. That's why I was going to do them. And also it just kind of fits within the universe that, Clan Wolf Beta Galaxy did fight Razelhog quite a bit. But yeah, that's the plan whenever that stuff arrives, which is still going to be a little while by the sounds of it. I know they're claiming they're going to ship by like September. I will believe that when I see it. So I'm not saying that I don't trust them, but I got to see September for that shipping date. If it does arrive in September, I'm going to be very busy because my Warcaster Neo Mechanic at Kickstarter is also going to arrive at that time. All right. Next round on the decals. But yeah, I always thought it'd just be really cool. Like, what if somebody actually did a true clan campaign where you start as nobody, work your way up through the ranks, have to do the bidding and all that, and then depending on how well you bid, you get rewards that encourages you for taking harder fights. Like it fits a video game so well. It annoys me that nobody's done this yet. So what I'm doing right now is I'm running through with the micro sol, the red stuff, and just hitting the quickly running this over the decals. And what this is going to do is just seal it down. And then we're going to apply some matte varnish, and that will be the decals. So it's difficult to see, but what's happening is this actually weakens the decals a bit. And what's happened is before it was kind of sitting on top of some places. Now it's actually sinking in. And that's the reason we're doing this, is to get everything to work nicely. But alas. There's the microsol out of the way. We need to do some gloss varnish or matte varnish. We got to seal down the bases. We've got to do some touch-ups, and you know what? We are actually fairly close to done. So let me go get the a touch-up paint real fast because I forgot to bring some. All right, had to let the dogs out too. Turns out they get grumpy when you don't let them outside. It's really weird. So this is the dark brown that is on the camo scheme. And it makes a really good touch-up paint. So there's that. They don't need touch-ups. You don't need touch-ups. You might. Yeah, you're good. I know you need some touch-ups. The giant hover APC. Good. Yeah, hopefully in like 6 months, you guys are actually going to be seeing us paint a whole crap load of BattleTech models too. At least that's the plan. So hopefully September rolls around, BattleTech starts arriving. We'll be painting BattleTech models on stream. These are coming along pretty good. These are moving at a pretty decent pace. So let's go ahead and seal down the sand on the bases. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some of that Elmer's glue. I unclog it real fast. With some water. Mix it to a milky-ish consistency. And down we go. This just gets pan on like a wash. And what that's going to do is dry and give the basing sand a nice kind of clear coat. It dries matte and it dries clear, so it's not going to affect anything. And then when this is done, we're going to go to the Army Painter range with their Wasteland Tufts and put some of that on the bases. Make them visually a little more interesting to look at. I guess going back to the BattleTech clan discussion, spoilers, if you have not played MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries and care, flip the audio off for a couple seconds. It very heavily leans into the suggestion that the clans are coming. I mean, it ends, the time that the game lets you play in ends just before the clan invasion. It's a safe assumption clans are coming. What I would like to see them do is see them focus on clans that don't get a lot of attention. I mean, you're doing initial clan invasion, so, I mean, focus on, like, what are your options? Like Wolf, Jade Falcon, like the Ghost Bears or something like that. Pick some clans that don't get a ton of attention. Or Steel Vipers would be really good. You know, pick a clan that doesn't get a whole lot of face time and do something with them. You know, Clan Wolf and Clan Jade Falcon have been beaten to death in content. There's even stuff focusing around the Smoke Jaguars and the Ghost Bears. You know, pick somebody else. Let's do the Steel Vipers. Let's do somebody. Hell's Horses would be really cool. I really wish they could do some of the weirder clans. If it wasn't Clan Wolf, I'd be doing Cloud Cobra or like Star Adder or something like that. You know, go with some of the weirder clans. As much as I love the wolves, the wolves and the green turkeys get way too much attention. Ice Hellion, yeah, I could see that. The point is, there's a lot of room there, and it feels like they constantly just retread old territory. I've played a lot of the old MechWarrior games, and it's like, yep, your wolves or Jade Falcons or something like that. I think one of them had some Ghost Bears in it. And one of the side games, I think, focused on Smoke Jaguar. It's like, you know, give them some attention. You got 20 clans to pick from. I promise you can find some cool storytelling in there. Like I said, I think it'd be really cool. They keep setting things during the inner sphere. Give me a pre-clan invasion clan campaign where you start out as a no-name mech warrior, you fight up through the ranks, advance, eventually come Khan or Galaxy Commander. Okay, yes, there's 18 at that time. I'm sorry. We don't acknowledge them, but, you know, they are lost. But I think Operation Klondike would be really cool. Even Golden Century, where the clans have established themselves but aren't planning the invasion of the Inner Sphere. Give me a campaign where you're just some no-account mech jock, and you build up and have to play missions during which you bid away things and have honor and things like that. Use that as currency and eventually work your way up to like Khan or something like that of some clan. There's number one, it feels very video gamey. That feels like video game mechanics I just described there. And it's an era that really hasn't had that kind of exploration to it. I think it would be really cool. You could even focus it around like trying to acquire Omnimex or something like that. You've got all this stuff. Battletech is great. Battletech has so much established lore to pick from. It kind of annoys me when they keep beating on the same eras time and time again. Like, okay, early 31st century is cool, but we just did that in the Hair-Bearing Schemes Battletech. And now we got another game where you're playing mercenaries in essentially the same time period. You know, I wish they would have picked something else. All right, so that's going to take a little bit to dry. And I think wait a couple more minutes and we'll do the matte varnish on the decals. And we're actually coming along at a pretty good pace today. This will dry up. We'll put the basing material down. And this will be pretty well all the heavy gear models I have left to do. I still have a bunch of infantry I do bases on, but we'll get to them. All right, let's grab the paintbrush. Some matte varnish. The clicking sound you hear is a ball bearing, by the way. I put a ball bearing in a lot of my paints just to act as an agitator. And we're going to very liberally apply matte varnish over the affected areas. The models were originally sealed with Tester's dull coat, gloss coat, and a little bit of help from Vallejo matte varnish, so this won't look out of place when it's done. I almost put my paintbrush in the glue, which would 100% work, but maybe not to the level I would like. And we're actually really close to done here. We're still going to try and run as close to 2 hours as we can. So if I need to, we'll start working on those infantry. But you know, time's flying so far, guys. So you get having a million models to paint. I need just a wee bit more. Thank you, Phil. I am not a particularly fantastic painter, but I can get perfectly serviceable results. I am going to try on my next army that I'm going to be doing to really step up my painting to the next level. But yeah, I appreciate it. Camo is one of those things that I just tried something random one day and it worked really well. Because I've done this, I've done forest camo, I've done urban camo, using this exact same technique. And it actually, the more I do it, the more I like it. Did I do this? I don't remember. All right, here. Cool. We're doing real good. But yeah, assuming everything comes in and there's no delays, Privateer Press's new miniature game Warcaster Neo Mechanica's Kickstarter should be shipping in August, is when I should be getting my stuff. So we'll be doing that for a while. The color scheme we're going to be going for, if anybody here has played the Command and Conquer games, we are going to be painting Nod. I even have some custom decals getting run off. We're going to paint Nod. I've got green crystals. We're going to put Tiberium out there. We're going to do all of it. And hopefully it turns out well, because it'll be a whole bunch of painting black. All right. Let's go to some brush here real fast. Before I do that, I need to grab some super glue. Here you go, sweetie. I'll let the dogs in too. But yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to be painting Command and Conquer Nod in August, hopefully, if everything works out. I've got custom decals that are being run off. I'm doing full scenic bases. And I am going to do my best to paint the entire army without using washes or contrast paint. So check back in about 4 months and you can watch me bumble through trying to blend black or black paint. Also, I've been looking around. DreamPod 9's running their Golden Gear competition. I'm not going to win it, but I think I'm going to work on an Arbalest Strider Duelist for my new coalition. Big chunky model, got a lot of room to work with, got some cool options. With some parts orders, I got some ideas on it. And we might be doing a Mad Scientist stream at some point. I'm sorry for the earthquake, guys. My dogs are playing under the table. You guys can pick somewhere else. Yes, I know I'm not paying intimate attention to you right now. The dogs are rioting. I love them dearly, but you know, come on, guys. Don't step on the cord, please. Why don't you go take it in another room? You have like 5 rooms to pick from. All right, now that the earthquake seems to have passed, I hope. Anybody's curious, the tufts we are putting on are from Army Painter. They are the wasteland tufts. So they're meant to look like really scrubby wasteland stuff. Put that down. Put that down. Yeah, it works. Be tall. Stay up. Stay up. Right there. And then we have one last hussar who needs some scrubby brush. And I'm also going to have to get a restock on these wasteland tufts. All right. Hooray! Yeah, we're actually... all this stuff needs to dry. I might need to do a little bit of touch-up. Because I see a little bit of super glue for showing through in a few places. So there might be a little bit of work to be done. But I think on the whole, these guys are done. They've already been magnetized. I magnetized them all so they can travel nicely. Any like metal cake pan or something like that makes an Army transport tray in a box. So we'll go ahead and move these off screen here. Because, you know, we still got some time. And I've still got more models to base. Because infantry are fun. So much infantry. So these are some Lizard Riders. They're actually South models, but they're available to New Coalition. I went ahead and got them because I actually got a deal on them at about half price. I actually think they're very useful in game because they're so fast and like they're infantry, so they hide really easy. And Peace River North. I thought they were South models. Either way, they're available in New Coalition now. Yeah. And then this is actually, I've also got some Sand Riders to base, so, you know, we've got them. A lot of stuff to do. Unfortunately, we are probably going to run out of time on stream before it all gets done. I don't know if we are going to be having another stream next week. Mostly because I'm kind of out of models to paint, which is really weird. I don't understand. Oh, okay. And you're responding to that. Trying not to run over any puppies here. I can pull these over. I did get around to painting my Peace River starter stuff. So, a little bit of a candy apple red, but no, I think they turned out okay. They are very visually distinct from the other armies I've got lying around. So that was the intent. I guess I do have some models out there. I still got some Utopia models I need to finish. I forgot about them. They're sitting on a shelf staring at me, and I forgot they existed. So we'll probably try and do one of these again next week as I finish off Utopia. And then I will be done with my Kickstarter stuff. Dave, if you want to do your Caprice magnetizing, that's totally fine. I'm not going to argue with you. But yeah, I think Rick, I think it was you who asked if somebody else, if we could do a video on force construction with Utopia. Dave's actually going to be doing a video on, or at least it's on the docket, for magnetizing the Caprice models. So your friend might want to watch that, where it's like, hey, it's not assemble them one way, you can magnetize them. And I don't think it's too hard, it's just a little tedious. Yeah, Utopia is interesting. I just got the generic starter box. I didn't do it at the time. I kind of wish I had gotten one of the super mega command tanks. But I didn't get a Gilgamesh. I kind of wish I had. I kind of wish I'd gotten both a Gilgamesh and a Marduk, the Walker artillery piece. But alas, you can't win them all. Just to put them on the table. Yeah, I have that syndrome too a little bit, where it's like I own models for it, therefore I feel like I must play it at least once. A lot of the demo stuff I have, though, or a lot of stuff I have is for demo purposes, or I have it for demo reasons. Like, I still have my original War for Terra Nova Kickstarter stuff, which is all painted up as north, south. I've got a Caprice and a CEF force done up. The Utopia one, I just kind of built a demo army with and built that out. Not necessarily good armies in terms of like gameplay, but illustrative. Like here's how the game mechanics work. But actually, one I keep having a temptation to try is Black Talons. I keep looking at Black Talons going, you know, I kind of want to give them a spin. But right now, I don't have anything for them. I got about 10 minutes left. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to get these guys on there on the sand. We're going to do the Sand Rider Infantry as well. And then that will be the conclusion for this video. I'll do the second layer of glue. Have to do it off camera. All right. Where'd the one I just do go? So a little bit on his base. All right. On to the other infantry real fast. Yeah, I think we're gonna finish these guys up and call it a night because my dogs seem upset that I'm not giving them like a million attention right now. Quit shaking the table, guys. That would be really nice. I just got yelled at by one of the dogs. You can't say. I'm gonna put the VTOL right here so you guys can watch as the table is getting shook by Godzilla. I know, buddy. I know. Just a little bit longer. It'll be okay. You can wait 10 minutes. Just a few more. I am not being particularly neat with this just because it's sand. So if it gets a little bit on the models, I'm not too heartbroken by that. Last model, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Thanks for coming out. Like I said, I just recorded videos for a profile review of the Southern Army box. We go through the models in the South Army box, talk about a little bit about their history in the universe and where they fit into the grand scheme of things in the game. I also do one where I go through force construction using an example. We actually build a new coalition force in the video. Those should be, I imagine they shouldn't be too long. We just need to tag them and stuff like that to get them ready to go. Caprice versus New Coalition, still in editing. Hopefully should be fairly soon. I think Dave said he just redid a bunch of stuff for it. And then somebody asked about doing Caprice, building a 150-point Caprice list using 2 starter boxes. I think we can oblige that. And yeah, that's about it, guys. So thanks for coming out. I'm gonna go ahead and start packing up here. Decent chance we'll be doing another one of these next week. At least I've got some Caprice models left, so I'll be doing it. Maybe Dave will be doing his magnetization. I don't know. Just a quick closure on what's going to happen with these models from here out. These guys are going to get in, once that dries, I'm going to water down some more Elmer's glue, wash over their bases. I don't have enough grass tufts. I'm going to have to go get more when I can. But grass tufts will then be placed over the models, and they'll be ready to go. And they will join the infantry horde. So with that, guys, have a good one. Stay safe. I understand everything's a little chaotic right now. I am trying to maneuver the cross dogs here. And I will see you guys later.